Welcome to our webinar about the antioxidant power couple. My name is Elena, and as many of you know, I'm the founder of Lemon Wellmed. At Lemon Wellmed, we are happy to share tips and resources for enhancing your well-being and maintaining a healthy lifestyle through our webinars and blogs. We offer the best supplement brands and we focus on liposomal formulation, in particular on the powder ones. Liposomal supplements are innovative and more effective than regular supplements as they use liposomes. Liposomes have a much higher absorption rate and are very pure and natural. But what are liposomes? They are tiny bubbles of phospholipids that are filled with active ingredients. Phospholipids are also the building blocks of our cells. Liposomes can transport the active ingredients into the body and protect them from degradation in the stomach, where there are the gastric acids. So, the active ingredients enter the bloodstream without loss of effect. After safely delivering the ingredients, the liposomes become nutrients for our cells because they have the same structures of our cells. This is a very natural process and there is no waste material. Liposomal supplements are also cost effective because you do not need to take high doses thanks to the high absorption rate. The powder liposomal forms are absolutely the best ones because they have no fillers, no chemicals, and no preservatives. Today, we speak about two important antioxidants, glutathione and alpha-lipoic acid. It's really important to take them in liposomal form as quality and efficacy are much higher. But now I let our fantastic Anita speak, and she has prepared very insightful and interesting slides for you. Over to you, Anita.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Elena. Again, it's a big pleasure to be here with you. For those of you who hadn't watched our previous webinars, I'm Anita Andor. I'm a women's health specialist, and my main area of focus are hormonal imbalance, gut issues, and skin health. And I'm also actively working with histamine-related conditions. So let's say if I can take control of these slides as technologists, yes. Our best skills, I'll say. All right, super. I hope everyone loves the title, Antioxidant Power Couple. Initially, I kind of like messed up the naming, but Elena pointed out that.
Because you spoke about mother and husband, which was a strange couple. So I thought must be wife and husband maybe, or mother and father.
Yeah, true story, but I've amended that. So just to run through, today we will be looking at the definition of antioxidants, how can we group them, why do we need them, and then we will be looking at the antioxidant power couple, glutathione and alpha-lipoic acid. So on the and apologies for my voice, I'm a little congested still. I just had COVID myself last week, but I'm here in full force. I already hit
very strong lady
on my day 4, so it's all good here. But if you can't hear me really well, that's because of COVID. Okay, so on the very first slide, I put down some bullet points to define what antioxidants are. And if you go on Google, the literature uses interchangeably reactive oxygen species to free radicals. Well, antioxidants are really, really molecules that helps the body to fight reactive oxygen and nitrogen species that are both damaging to the body. Some sources do mention free radicals. Free radicals are really a byproduct of normal cell metabolism, which is completely normal. The problem arises when they are in excess and when the body cannot clear them. But this is where antioxidants comes into the picture. I don't know why this slide is keep on jumping. Now, these reactive species are dangerous because they are unstable. What does that mean? They are unstable because they have unpaired electrons. So what the antioxidant does is it neutralizes them by donating an electron. Antioxidant can be classified, this is one kind of classification, as water or fat soluble. We will mention later on why this is important. And they are also used in the food industry to prevent rancidity. So if you look at food labels, when you purchase your product, you will see some natural and some synthetic antioxidant in your product. Now, they can be categorized several ways. We're going to be looking at this main classification, which really tells us that some of them are based on or dependent on enzymes. Those three: superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase. Please do not discourage. I know they don't sound extremely sexy, and we're not going to go into details on these. And then the non-enzymatic ones can be either vitamin or mineral based. The vitamin based are very well known, so they will be vitamin A, C, and E. And the mineral ones are manganese, copper, zinc, and selenium. So, sorry, next slide. Very important question, why do we need them? So we mentioned earlier that antioxidants gives us protection against reactive species, because if we don't combat these species, we will have oxidative stress in the body. Oxidative stress causes damage to lipids, to proteins and DNA. It also causes chronic inflammation. So I always say to my clients during when I deliver the plan that where there is inflammation, there is oxidative stress. Where there is oxidative stress, there is inflammation. We're going to be looking at an image in one of the next slides, how this works. And if this oxidative stress and inflammation is prolonged, that's when we have the risk of chronic disorders. Really, oxidative stress and inflammation are behind all the chronic diseases that we have today. Now, regardless of our lifestyle and diet, age increases the risk of oxidative stress anyway. Okay, so the next slide, really I wanted to talk about here about what is oxidative stress. And I really defined it in the previous slide. It's when we don't have enough antioxidants. Basically, there are more reactive oxygen species than antioxidants. And what causes oxidative stress is, I've listed here the major ones. Rancid vegetable oils are big ones, and then fried fruits are also. Smoking, so excessive smoking is really bad for us. Chronic stress and sleep disturbance, environmental toxins, iron overload. We will talk about iron a little bit later on in the webinar, and inflammation. Okay, so this is the slide I mentioned earlier. So this basically a vicious cycle. What this slide is telling us that if there is oxidative stress, that will create basically a cytokine storm, and then that will create inflammation, and that the process will start all over again.
A circle.
Yes, exactly, like a vicious cycle. Okay, so let's look at our first product, glutathione. We call this really the mother antioxidant. It's a tripeptide, so it's made up of 3 different amino acids: cysteine, glycine, and glutamic acid, and it is produced in the liver. Before we go into look at what glutathione does, I would also like to mention that the food resources of glutathione will be cruciferous vegetables, organic eggs, organic beef, and organic whole grains. But as many of us know, sadly, the vitamin content of foods today, it's not sufficient. That's why I always recommend to supplement additionally. So glutathione is the major antioxidant that directly neutralizes the reactive oxygen and nitrogen species by donating the electron. It also fights the inflammation by way of reducing oxidative stress, so what we've seen in the previous slides. It supports nitric oxide production, and nitric oxide what causes our blood vessels to dilate. So this is really important. And as we will see later when we talk about COVID, this is really beneficial for anyone suffering with COVID, because our blood vessels constrict when we have pulmonary and cardiovascular problems. It also helps other antioxidant enzymes and other antioxidant vitamins to regenerate, namely vitamin C and vitamin E. So what this means is that vitamin C and E really can be used more times if we have sufficient glutathione levels. It is also a big player in phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. If you wanted to know a little bit more about this, I think we had a webinar where we talked about hormones, and there we touched on liver detoxification in a bit more detail. There is actually a pathway dedicated just for glutathione, which is actually heavily relying on B vitamins, zinc, and selenium to work. Glutathione is also really good for supporting oxygen metabolism, and very, very good for transporting mercury out of the cell and the brain as well. And lastly, it is really, really important for mitochondrial function. Mitochondria is our energy powerhouse. So this is where we basically produce energy. Okay. So what probably most of you are thinking about right now is what depletes glutathione. So other than poor diet and lifestyle choices, such as eating a very nutrient depleted diet, drinking, smoking, sadly, as we age, our glutathione levels reduce. Chronic stress, diabetes, high blood pressure are also very bad for our glutathione levels. And the last point, NSAIDs, which means non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. So we are talking about here ibuprofen, paracetamol, those kind of medications are also depleting glutathione levels, which is quite interesting because oftentimes you go to your GP and about 99% of the time you are advised to take this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But patients do not know what are the side effects and do not know about the glutathione and the depleting of glutathione. So maybe also GPs don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be.
They just close their eyes over it. So now, after reading out this list to you, the obvious answers into how you can stimulate your glutathione levels just without taking the supplement is obviously having a healthy diet and try to minimize your alcohol intake. Alcohol extremely depletes glutathione, and basically when the levels are low, apoptosis is promoted. Apoptosis is really cell death. So basically your cells, so the telomere we call it, they start shortening, and the lifespan is drastically reduced. Okay. So the next supplement, I would say the right hand to glutathione, is also the second best antioxidant is alpha-lipoic acid. Alpha-lipoic acid is produced in the mitochondria, so in our energy factory. And it does all the same things as glutathione, but it does some additional things. And I've highlighted these points on the slide in red. So what alpha-lipoic acid does, it increases glutathione production by up to 70%, which is really, really good news for us, because it means that we have more options to increase glutathione. It also helps us absorbing glucose because it mimics glucose. So it is actually quite widely used with diabetic patients, especially for neuropathy. It is water and fat soluble. Now, what this means is that it works all around the body, okay? Alpha-lipoic acid is one of the really good versatile supplements that really works all around the body. Why this is important? For example, vitamin C is water soluble. So vitamin C will be working where the water soluble nutrients absorbed, and vitamin E is fat soluble. So it really, if we are making sure that we have a good army of antioxidants, then we can ensure that we have full protection all over the body. Now, there are some recent researches out that alpha-lipoic acid is actually really good for weight loss. And additionally, it has iron chelation property. What chelation means? Chelation really means that it binds to something. So by binding to iron, it means that it can reduce iron levels. And I know that mostly you think that iron is really needed for fatigue, but iron actually has a pro-inflammatory action. And so it can cause inflammation and oxidative stress. So I saw with my clients that sometimes people are tired, and they go to the pharmacy and they just pick some iron pills. But you should never ever do that unless you get tested and you actually do need it, because you actually can do more damage than good, I'm afraid. Now, going back to the point that alpha-lipoic acid increases glutathione production, then you may be well asking that, okay, if both have the same effect, which one should I be taking? Now, I'm favoring right now alpha-lipoic acid based on all the research I have been reading, because it does more, but you're not sure. So the question arises, do you actually convert from alpha-lipoic acid into glutathione? Can that person effectively use the raw materials to produce glutathione? Do we consume the other players, so the other cofactors that are needed to produce glutathione? So it's not that simple. But if you struggle with a bit of a weight gain, and if you are a person who is really active, and if you are a person who finds it really difficult not to touch sweet food, I would definitely go for alpha-lipoic acid.
And what about the dosage of these two?
So, okay, yeah, sorry, let's just talk about dosages now. So alpha-lipoic acid can be dosed anywhere between 600 milligram up to 1,800 milligram. I would say 600 milligram, I'm comfortable, me personally recommending it just in one dose. But if you go above that, you have to take them in divided doses. And with glutathione, really anything goes between 250 milligram up to 2000 milligram. What I didn't mention is that the absorption, especially glutathione, is really oral. glutathione supplements are really poorly absorbed. So if you go for glutathione supplements, it has to be liposomal. There is no question about it. If you look at 10 studies, all 10 studies will confirm
Yes,
this. So there is no debate about this.
yes,
I think I also read some negatives on IV glutathione as well. And under no circumstances would recommend it anyway, because that's not our area. You would have to be under a medical practitioner for that.
yes.
So the next slide, I really wanted to talk about COVID because both of these supplements can be really, really beneficial. I cannot say that it will prevent it. I cannot say that it will treat it, but I can speak from personal experience that it definitely, you will definitely have a better experience by utilizing them. So I took glutathione both times I had COVID. So I had COVID the first time last year in December, which was much worse than what I had last week. And I'm a person who is really prone to get bronchitis, and it definitely took that edge off, you know, for me to be in that state that, oh my God, I'm worried. Am I gonna die? You know, can I breathe? I didn't have any of those feelings at all. So let's talk about COVID a little bit. The common factor in all COVID-related cases is really that we are not able to modulate the accumulation of free radicals. So glutathione can have a major impact by improving the oxygen saturation, reducing the viral load, improving the breathing, and just speeding up the recovery in general. So how does it do it? We mentioned earlier that it reduces oxidative stress and inflammation, and I believe that these are the main issues in COVID. So it can also be taken, from what I have read, when you got a risk of cytokine storm as well, because it reduces the effect of the cytokines, and is really, really beneficial in severe cases. But in severe cases, you really have to do high doses. So you have to go up to 2, maybe even 3,000 milligram. And as you know from reading and researches, COVID can really touch a lot of different systems in our body. So edema, you really have issues with gas exchange dysfunction, and obviously the respiratory distress is the biggest one, really. Now, with alpha-lipoic acid most certainly attracted attention as well, because it does the same. And I think why glutathione has a better effect on the oxygen saturation, I would say that alpha-lipoic acid is probably better for addressing fatigue. So that's why I would say that the combination of two would work much better to target all the different concerns we have around COVID. Oh, okay. I already really talked about this. Apologies. So I also think that taking glutathione would really reduce the burden on the liver to do other jobs why we are dealing with COVID, because it is produced in the liver. So if you supplement with glutathione, you are already providing the body what it needs. So the liver has less things to worry about, really. So I'm not saying that you should be taking this in the long term, but 2 to 3 months definitely is a great idea, and then you can take a break. But again, from personal experience, I've been through already a couple of bottles. It was December, and I'm really nicely alive and kicking and doing my 40-50 kg in the gym. So I can talk about personal experience here. Okay, I think that's it on the slide. So I don't know, Anna, if you've got any questions at all.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much, Anita, for preparing this wonderful slide. Very interesting, and also the part about COVID, and thank you for sharing your experience. And it's important to give information also about these products like glutathione and alpha-lipoic acid, which are less popular than supplements like vitamins, for example. So it's good that people know about them and what they can do and how they can help with COVID and other problems. And so thank you everybody for attending. And I have some questions before closing, because you have spoken about inflammation, energy, detoxification, regeneration of other vitamins and COVID, but what other health concerns are they good for?
Okay, so I would really like to emphasize possibly neurodegenerative disorders. So what we are talking about here is Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington disease. It's really, really good for brain health because our brain is heavily dependent on oxygen. So, and glutathione is really good for addressing this. And I personally had a really brain fog, a really bad brain fog after the last COVID. And you know, Elena, because we're supposed to record webinars and we had to be late.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are talking about things as you are talking and you just don't know what you're going to say next.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So very good, because yes, these are conditions and problems that come with aging. So also the brain can be impaired with aging. So glutathione and alpha-lipoic acid are very helpful for healthy aging, let's say.
Yeah, I think also really, really important to take it for anyone who is struggling with asthma, hay
Ah,
fever,
okay. Mm,
COPD. So because
mm.
pulmonary diseases obviously are a big problem if you are really afraid of COVID, and any kind of cardiovascular concerns, really.
Okay. And are there possible interactions with medications or other supplements?
So none of them has any severe or even moderate interaction with any medicinal drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But with regards to other vitamins and minerals, what I could say is that with glutathione, if you're taking it on the higher side, and by higher side, what I mean is, I think I would say between 1,000 and 2,000 milligram. If you take it on a long term, so post 2 months, it can deplete zinc, selenium, and B vitamins because these
Mm-hmm.
are the cofactors that are needed to produce glutathione. So obviously, in order to produce it, you will need those cofactors, okay? And if you're already quite low on that side to start off with, then it's definitely even a bigger problem. With regards to alpha-lipoic acid, same, there is no severe or moderate interaction with medicinal drugs. What I really would like to emphasize is because it mimics glucose and it helps with glucose uptake, just be mindful what kind of herbal or health supplements you take to lower blood sugar levels, or any blood clotting medications as well, because alpha-lipoic acid also reduces your blood sugar. So you don't want to have a really bad hypoglycemic event and, just pass out on the street because your blood sugar level dropped. Yeah, so and with alpha-lipoic acid, some people did report some gastrointestinal side effects, but mostly those people who are either overdosed or took it on empty stomach. So I would suggest possibly to take alpha-lipoic acid with food. Same can go for glutathione. One thing to bear in mind is that glutathione levels usually is the lowest in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely start the day with taking some in the morning, but I would also take some during the evening, so you can prepare your body. You absorb it during the night, and then you start the day on a better note. I hope that helps.
Yes, very good advice. Yes. And if you take these products with other vitamins, for example, like vitamin C, maybe they can enhance the benefits of those vitamins, right?
Yeah, definitely, because as we said
Mm,
earlier, it recycles the other
yeah.
antioxidants, and also it enhances some enzymes as well. But let's not get into the enzymes, because the enzymes usually are full of jargon stuff. Um, but yeah, and I honestly think that they are really amazing supplements to give a break for your liver a little bit, even to give a break to your mitochondria a little bit. We also use alpha-lipoic acid for fibromyalgia. So
Ah,
I had two clients, and they reported that their energy levels were much better. And I actually also used alpha-lipoic acid with a client who struggles with really bad depression, not because I wanted to address the depression directly, but because I wanted to improve the energy. Because, you know, sometimes you have clients, they come to you with certain goals to achieve, but you have to start completely somewhere else. So if a client is anxious or they are lower energy, it's highly likely that they don't want to do anything, and they're not going to comply, and they're not going to be changing their diet. They're not even going to take their supplements. So that's really the first thing to address. So I think, to summarize, glutathione and alpha-lipoic acid is a really great couple to improve mental health, brain health, with the physical component. And glutathione it's much better for brain health, I think, and alpha-lipoic acid is much better for energy, so physical health.
that's great and interesting. And maybe we could write a blog about this topic and put some case studies to could be interesting because, as I said, they are less popular, and it's good to educate consumers.
Yes.
Yes, very good. No other questions, but if our attendees have other questions, they can email you in particular or email me, and we will be happy to answer. And if someone wants to share our webinar on the social media, we will be happy to offer a discount coupon code. It would be very useful for us because the sharing and word of mouth are very powerful, and sharing education and information is important. So here you can see our email addresses and our website, and they will get a discount also on your consultation.
That's right.
So now I stop sharing the screen, and I thank you very much, Anita. You are very good as usual, very interesting topics as usual. Follow us on the social media and on our website, and we will prepare other interesting webinars with Anita for you. Thank you so much, Anita. Anita, see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.